Milani just released a brand new blurring baked finishing powder, and I immediately thought about the Hourglass Ambient Finishing Powder. Today, we're going to be comparing shade range, price, packaging, and formula to see how they truly compare. Welcome to my very first episode of Expensive versus Cheap Makeup. Let's dive right in. First, let's talk formula. We're going to be applying both powders to either side of my face using the Sephora Collection number 50 Pro Powder Brush. So while I do have the Milani powder in 3 different shades, tan, deep, deep, and rich, I'm going to be applying the shade Deep 180 to this side of my face. And then after my face application, we'll dive into the swatches, comparing it to the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders. So starting with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powder first, we're going to apply it to this side of my face. I decided to pick up this particular palette because it has 2 different shades, which are the deepest shades that they offer in the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powder. There's Eternal Light and Transcendent Light, and this is a strobing powder, kind of a subtle lit from within, kind of a highlighting color. This is Prismic Strobe Light. So on this side of my face, I'm going to take the Sephora Collection number 50 powder brush, and I'm going to apply the shade Eternal Light. I have my brush completely loaded, and I am just going to finish my face as I would. As expected, the skin looks absolutely flawless. Just in case you are unaware, a finishing powder just gives you a beautiful veil to the face, blurring any lines of demarcation, and it should be the very final step of your makeup application. So on to the other side, using another Sephora Collection number 50 brush, using the shade Deep. This shade does look a little bit light, but when it comes to any finishing powder, they are almost kind of translucent. They give you a very light wash of color to the skin, but it shouldn't alter the final look of your makeup application. The only time that may happen is if the finishing powder is extremely too light. So here we go. This particular powder has a little bit more kick up than the Hourglass powder, to be honest. Okay, so here is the face up close. This side Hourglass, this side Milani. What are we thinking? Do you see a difference in the actual application of the finishing powder? If I'm being completely honest, I would say that this side has a little bit less shine to it. If you look here in this area, I feel like the Milani powder knocked down some of the glow in my skin a little bit more than the Hourglass did. So I would say that the Hourglass powder would have more of a luminous finish, if you will. So that's the formulation face application part of today's video. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders retail for $58. This particular palette retails for $75. However, with this particular palette, you do get 2 different finishing powders and a strobing powder in it. So buying an Hourglass palette versus the individual may be the best bet if you can use all 3 shades in the palette. The Milani Baked Blurring Finishing Powders retail for $15.99, and at the time of making this video, I've only been able to find them at Ulta Beauty. The packaging. When it comes to a very well packaged product, Hourglass always hits a home run, regardless of the product. And the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders are no exception. This is very, very luxurious, very weighty in the hand. When it comes to the Milani baked products, all of their new baked products come in a translucent glass container, or come in a hard translucent lid container. It does feel pretty weighty in the hand. It has a gold looking bevel to it. It's somewhere mid. Honestly, the packaging here on a $15.99 product actually outweighs some of the products that I get at Sephora that cost $30 and $40, to be honest. However, it's definitely taking a back seat to what you get from Hourglass from a packaging perspective. When it comes to the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders, this powder is going to come in a total of 8 shades. And Transcendent Light, this middle shade here, would be the deepest shade. This is described as a warm sienna. And this shade here, Eternal Light, described as a neutral deep beige shade. This would be their second to deepest shade and the shade that I would wear. When it comes to the Milani Baked Blurring Finishing Powder, it's going to come in a total of 12 different shades with a variety of different undertones. I have here 3 different shades in my personal collection, and I would be wearing the shade in the wintertime Tan Deep, this middle shade, and right now I'm wearing the shade 170 Deep. So this is the shade Rich, and there's 2 more shades deeper than this, and we love to see it. The Hourglass powder truly is a stunning, stunning powder. We're going to take a really close look so that we can see up close on the powders. And for the sake of today's comparison, it seems like these 2 are the closest. So we're going to do Deep and Rich versus Eternal Light and Transcendent Light. All right, so here are our powders. This is Milani Tan Deep 170. Milani Deep 180. And then Milani Rich. Tan Deep, Deep, and Rich. Now, making sure that my hands are clean. This is Hourglass Eternal Light. I'm going to pop her in right here. It is a stunning, stunning powder. No lie. It definitely has more reflect than the Milani. It's going to give you more of that lit from within type of a glow. That is Hourglass Eternal Light. And then this is Hourglass Transcendent Light. All right. So this is the shade in Rich from Milani. This is the deepest shade from Hourglass in Transcendent Light. And you can definitely see that the deepest it's just not deep enough. That is one of my major issues when it comes to Hourglass. Now, when it comes to Milani versus Hourglass, I think that if you wear this shade, Eternal Light, you can wear either of these shades. It probably lands right there in the middle between Tan Deep and Deep from Milani. Beautiful, beautiful powder. Honestly, the Hourglass powder from a formulation perspective is number 1, is a 1. Especially if you have extremely dry skin. I would say if you have normal skin, oily skin, combo skin, and you don't want to spend that coin on the Hourglass, then the Milani is the way to go. To me, they both feel incredibly beautiful. They're both a baked formula. It's just that reflect that the Hourglass powder has, the Milani powder does not. Do I really like the finish on my face on the Milani side today? I do 100%. Since we're here, I'll go ahead and swatch out the strobing shade in this dark palette in Prismic Strobe Light, because it's beautiful. Hourglass makes a absolutely stunning powder for sure. Okay, so now that we've had a chance to look at both powders up close, there's just no denying the formulation when it comes to the Hourglass ambient lighting powders. However, when it comes to the price, it's quite obvious who's going to win here. When it comes to price and price only and shade range, it is hands down the Milani powder for me. The issue that I have with Hourglass in general has always been their shade range and having an inclusive shade range. And as you can see, their deepest powder that they have in Transcendent Light is really not that deep. And you have here Milani at the drugstore with this beautiful rich shade. And then there's two more shades deeper than this. I mean, come on. If I had to make a choice whether or not I'm going to buy the Hourglass Eternal Light, which is an absolutely beautiful powder, or Milani, I'm going to pick the Milani every time. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if you love an absolutely flawless matte foundation routine, you're going to want to check out my video giving you step-by-step instructions, and I'll see you over there. Bye.